Okay, in this video, I'll show you how to write some simple questions in Excel using proton, neutron, and electron counting as an example. All right, so you see here, I've put together an Excel sheet, and I collected about 413 different isotopes from the internet. The table I found, and it was probably several tables, and I combined them, had protons number listed, mass number listed, and then the isotope. And so I just took those and brought everything together into my list. And so I made a column for the proton number, column for the mass number, and a column for the isotope. Now, if you wanted to, you could also show that as the elemental symbol with the appropriate superscripts and subscripts, but that gets a little messy to do because they're pre-subscripts and pre-superscripts. And so I chose just to use the isotope name. And so I could then, I've set it up so that I could ask three different questions. So it says an atom of, and I could have made that an isotope of, right? Doesn't matter. Has how many protons, how many neutrons, or how many electrons. And notice each one of those, we have to end with that close paragraph tag, just like we had to open it with that open paragraph tag. And if you need a refresher, you can check out my previous video on some basic HTML for Blackboard question writers. Then I also have a separator, and in this case I chose the star. You have to choose something that you don't use in your questions. In my questions that I write, I never use a star. And so that's a perfect symbol for me. I need that separator there so that when we take this file into our text editor, I can easily find it and replace it with a tab character. Okay. And so then I can choose the appropriate answer for the question. So here I've got the number of protons. That just comes from column A. I've got the number of neutrons. That comes from column B minus column A. And then I've got the number of electrons. That just is the same as the proton number. I suppose we could write ions if we wanted to, and then you would just have to change your answers there, right? So this is just very straightforward. There's nothing fancy going on. It's just a nice way to collect all of the things that we need to collect. All right. So once we have that, then we have to put it together into a text file. And so let's make a new sheet. And I'm going to use a fill in the blank question type. And so we would say FIB, so that's fill in the blank. I know that I've got 413 of them, so now I can drag this down, and we'll drag it down so that we fill it all up. Should go to about 415, and that should get us there. So I've got enough fill in the blanks then for the number of questions that I have. All right. Now we use the concatenate function, or now it's just called concat. And so now we just tell Excel what pieces we want to put together for our question. So I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to come down to my other tab where we had our collection of questions. And I'm going to start at column C. And so in between each cell that I choose, I'm going to put a comma. So we go C, D, comma. Let's just do the protons right now. And so we can go E, comma. Now we need the separator. So H, comma. And then the answer for protons is I, so I'll choose that. And then we'll close that with a parenthesis and hit a return. And so there's our first question all put together. The format for the fill in the blank, if you remember, is FIB, tab, then the question, a tab, and then the answer. So right now, if I would copy these and take them into a text editor, it would, each cell, it automatically puts a tab character between each cell. But I don't want to have to worry about that here, so I just grab it like that. Let's fill in the rest of our questions. So I can select that cell. I can hover over the corner until it gives me that solid plus sign. And then if I double click, it should fill in all of those down to 415. So there's all of the questions. The only thing we have to do now is copy all of them. So let's highlight that, and then we'll copy or highlight it all the way down, and we'll copy those. And so the next step then is to take it into a text editor. All right, so my text editor of choice on a Macintosh is called BB Edit. And I'll put a link to it in the description. So I opened a new document. I'm going to paste in our copied cells from Excel. And there it is, all 413. Let's go back up to the top. And so we can see then, FIB, here's a tab. We can't see it right there, but in this text editor, I can go up and tell it to show me all of those. And so if I do that, we should be able to see. Okay, and so it shows it the tab as a little triangle. So it still has the star because we haven't done anything yet to remove it. And so I have to use the find function in your text editor. And so when I search on this little asterisk, it should highlight all of them. And so there should be 413 there. Now, to put a tab in there, you would replace that star with a backslash t, a backslash lowercase t, and that puts a tab in there. So you have to know a little bit about some regular expression stuff, but not a whole lot. If all you want to do is put in a tab, just remember it's a backslash t. And I suppose I'll put that in the description as well. So I can hit replace all, and now all of those asterisks have become tabs. So at this point, it's just a matter of saving that file. So I'll save that, and we'll call it, I guess I'll call it counting.txt, right? We want a text file, and the usual extension for a text file is .txt. All right, so our file is saved. All we have to do now is import it into BlackBoard, and there'll be 413 questions. So I went ahead and created a question pool in BlackBoard. So now it's just a matter of uploading that text file that we just created. So let's go to upload questions. And so then we can give it a default point value. I always choose just 1 point. we can browse to that text file. There it is, counting.txt. Then we can submit that. Okay, it tells us there are 413 questions. That's good. That's what we had there. We can change the question display. Right now it's truncated, but we can still see all of the question. If you had a longer question, right, or super and subscript that you would want to check out, you would have to change that display to full text so that you could actually see what the question looked like. And so there it is. And that's it. You've got your questions. Now you can use them in your pool. So I hope this was useful. If it was and you liked it, please be sure to hit that like button down at the bottom. And if you have any questions, be sure to ask. All right, I'll see you next time.